All right, let's begin the conservation of mass lab. Today we will combine two substances, baking soda, a solid, vinegar, a liquid acid. We will determine the mass before the reaction and after the reaction, as well as record some of our observations. Now, this is a reaction involving chemicals, so we have to observe our lab safety. First of all, I'll wear my goggles because any of these, either the vinegar or the baking soda getting in my eyes, could be uncomfortable, painful, and possibly even hazardous to my eyes. I will also want to make sure that I do not get my hands anywhere near my mouth, as bringing either one in, whereas it probably will not harm me, will taste bad and could upset my stomach, and I will want to make sure I wash my hands after the experiment. The procedure: you will measure out 15 milliliters of vinegar. Now, you may have a larger graduated cylinder with markings all the way up to 100 milliliters, or you may have a small one. If I need 15 milliliters and I only have 10 milliliters, what can I do? Certainly, I can measure 10, empty it into a container, and then 5 more. But we are going to use the larger. Please use your pipette. Do not just pour it in there. Then you'll have to pour it out if you mismeasure. So I take my pipette and I can start just squirting it in there. Getting it in there. This pipette is underperforming, but I'll be patient. And I'm going to pour a little bit in, and then I'm going to top it off. So I need to be at 15, so casual. Oh, at 5, looks like 8, looks like 13, boop, 14, and I'm going to top off to 15 using my underperforming pipette to be careful. Looking at the meniscus, I don't see one. That's because vinegar has different properties of water. I will put my 15 milliliters into my open bottle. I'll pour that in there. Now I have to prepare a 2-gram packet of baking soda. Now, I don't want to just pour it in there because I need time for it to react. So we'll use a tissue paper square to wrap it up. So I go to my electric beam balance and I measure 0.3 grams. So if I want 2 grams of baking soda, I would add 2 plus 0.3 to get 2.3. Now, I will take my baking soda, and Mr. Nicewater, my assistant, if you can get me a spoon. I needed something. I asked for it. Thank you very much, sir. I will gently just take, because 2 grams is about 2 paper clips, and I'll just gently put it on there until it it's going up 0.5, 0.6. I want it to get to 2.3. Making sure I don't get any on my fingers, but if I do, it's okay. It's not toxic. Oh my goodness, 2.5, too much. Take some off. 2.4. 2.3. Now, being careful not to spill any, want to gently wrap it into a little packet so none will spill out. Now I'm going to leave it on the balance. Still says 2.3. Now I want to get the mass of all the reactants. I have to include the container because I can't just pour the vinegar on there. So I put them all on there and I get the mass in grams. 46 grams exactly. 46 grams. Now for our first part of this experiment, we are going to react the baking soda with the vinegar in an open container. I take it very carefully, drop it in, and I observe. I'm listening. I hear it fizzing. I'm looking. I see all sorts of bubbling. Gas is escaping. And if I feel it, I feel it's actually a little bit warmer. That's not a measured observation, but I can feel a little bit of warmth. So I continue. I'm not shaking it vigorously, just moving it around till I hear it stop fizzing. Oh, still fizzing. Gas must be being released. Now I look on my scale and I see it says negative 0.1. So I want to hit 0 again. So it comes back. React it. I want to measure the mass again. Oh my gosh, I've got 45.7 grams. It has dropped 0.3 grams. Draw your conclusions. Now, for part 2, we want to repeat the same procedure with a little bit of difference. First, I want to wash out my container, and you may go over to the sink. I'm not going to take that time. I want to get my paper towel square out. Now, I don't have to have it perfectly dry, but as dry as I can get it is good. Now, I start over again. 15 milliliters of vinegar. Once again, measuring it out, being so very careful. Ooh, looks like 9. Looks like 13, and I don't trust myself to be that precise. I'm going to use the pipette from here because I don't really want to go over and have to start over again. Sometimes I can become impatient. Don't want to. Almost there. Looks like 14. All right, 15 milliliters. Once again, very carefully putting it in my bottle. Once again, I'm going to measure out 2 grams of baking soda. I put my tissue paper square. Once again, it weighs 0.3, but don't be worried if it weighs differently. As long as you make sure as you get 2 grams, so 2.3 for this one, goes up to 1.1, 1.4, 2.5. Once again, I've gone over, no problem. This is a finesse type gig. 2.4, 2.4, 2.3. Once again, being very careful not to spill any at all. I make my little delivery package. Now this part is crucial. Once again, I'm going to measure my bottle of my vinegar because I can't just pour the vinegar on there. But I am going to close off the system with the cap. The cap's going to be there at the end, so I have to add it into my reactant mass. So now I am looking at 50 grams of mass. You may need help from a partner for this because you must release the packet and screw on the cap before it begins to react. Mr. Neiselander, could I ask you to come over here and please drop in the packet and I will quickly screw on the top. Excellent. Screw it on tight. Now, once again, I will shake it. I will look at it. I see bubbling. I see fizzing. I listen to it. I can hear the fizzing. Gas must be being released. And then I can feel it. I feel it is a little bit warmer. A little bit warmer. Keep gently, not vigorously. I'm listening near the cap. I don't hear any gas escaping. So no matters getting out, no matters getting in. Okay, now, has it stopped reacting? I believe so. I regain the mass of the products, and once again, I have 50 grams, the exact same mass as I started with. The reactant mass and the product mass are the same. You now have data and observations to draw conclusions. This concludes the lab.